So today I woke up and I was like, you know what? I want to go to church. And I just want to be surrounded by people that are worshiping and enjoying the fact that we are able to wake up and have a whole day again. Like, thank the Lord for it and just rejoice and just be happy about it. So I woke up real early, got ready and everything. Very simple. I didn't do no heavy makeup or anything like that. Very basic, very simple. I just wanted to go and worship. And on the way there, I don't know if you guys ever experienced that where the GPS like glitches a little bit and whatever, you just have to go with the flow, kind of like try to figure out the next step until the GPS gets back right. So it was one of those situations. My GPS went crazy a little bit and I was like, you know what, don't worry about it, let me just keep on the same road. And then eventually I got to the church. I found the church. It's not a home church for me. It was just a church that I Googled and I went to. So when I went to the church, and I'm over here, like, I grabbed my coat, I got my purse, and I'm trying to rush to hurry up and get in because church service started at 11 o'clock. And I think I got there, like, at 11:08. So I'm kind of, like, hurrying up, trying to hurry up and get to the church. So I get up the stairs, and I open the door to get in. And once I get in, I went to go open the second door to get inside of the church. And the usher stopped me. He stopped me, and there was a couple other people that was behind me. I guess that was probably 8 minutes late too. And he stopped all of us, and he was just like, you guys cannot enter the church until they finish praying. I was like, what? Like, I've never heard that before. And I've been to so many different churches in my life that I've never heard before, ever heard before, that we had to wait outside of the church, no movement until they were done praying. Now, I'm not saying I am the holiest of the holiest or the cleanest of the cleanest, and I have no sins where I can cast a stone, because no, I can't cast no stones. However, I was so heartbroken. I really felt like, who does that? Who does that? What pastor, what church does that? Stops anybody from going into the house of the Lord. Like, seriously, during a prayer, I couldn't go in because one of the deacons was praying. Like, if God is all merciful, all forgiving, and come as you are, this is your home, not the pastor's home. Who is he to lock me out? Who is anybody to tell me that I cannot walk in 8 minutes late into a church? What if God prevented something on my way that made me late to get to that church? What if? How many other people has encountered that situation where you were stopped at the door of a church? You couldn't go in because the deacon was praying. I mean, let's just dissect this and just think about it a little bit. You know, I couldn't go into the church because somebody was praying. So whatever prayer was said inside of there, it wasn't meant for me. Like the child of God, it was not meant for me. That prayer, I couldn't receive none of that blessing or that benediction because the pastor or whoever runs that church felt like people are not allowed to come in at a certain time when there's prayers going on. If you're late, you're going to have to stay at the door and wait until the prayer is done, and then you can come in. Can we imagine if God would have felt that type of way about us? Hey, wait a minute. You just committed a sin. So guess what? You're going to have to wait before you can come and talk to me, and before you can approach me, before you can come into my house, you're going to have to wait. Excuse me, Pastor. I didn't like the way you did that sermon, so therefore you're going to have to wait. Can we imagine if God treated us like that? If God treated us with the you have to wait? A lot of these pastors, I feel like they don't allow God's will to be willed, and they take God's will and try to will it themselves. It is not your house for you to lock any one of us out. We are not your sheeps. We are not your lambs. We belong to God. And the path that people come to, well, the path that people want to walk when they go to church is the path that leads them to God. We don't come to church to be led on your path, to do as you tell us to do. We come because it is the will of God that we are seeking. I personally don't think any one of those people that was outside there with me, waiting for that door to be open because we weren't allowed to come in, felt good about that. I don't think neither one of us, any one of us felt good about that. How do you feel good about that? The one place that you are supposed to be allowed to go to worship. I mean, if I wanted to go to church with flip-flops on, I could go to church with flip-flops on. If I didn't have nothing else to wear and all I had was some short pants to wear and that's it, and that's all in my mind says, Sin, you need to go to church. I'm going inside that church with the short pants on. And I'm going to trust that God is going to change inside of me or change my environment or change my situation where I no longer have to wear short pants. But nowadays, I start noticing that and I start realizing that a lot of people is starting to will their own wills. They're not even allowing God to will God's will anymore in them. A lot of them are taking actions within their own hands. Some of these pastors can't even hear the voice of God anymore. Some of them are literally listening to themselves. And the funny thing about it is, I expressed that I did not like that. I did not like the fact that I had to wait at the door. I could have waited at the door of a bank. I could have waited at the door of a grocery store. I could have waited at the mechanic doing a new oil change on the car or changing my tires. I could wait. I could go to the emergency room and I can wait. I don't have a problem with waiting. But what I do have a problem with is going to church to be closer to God and not wanting to deal with all the human situation, the human being situation that I have to deal with, and just wanting to put my burdens down and just go in free-spirited, open-heartedly, just go in and worship God. I was not greeted with that today. Today, I had to wait. I went into a church. I never thought I would ever experience that. I had to wait. I had to wait in order to get inside. I had to wait in order to hear the word. I had to wait because I was 8 minutes late and the service started at 11 o'clock. And I got there at 11:08. So again, I think my biggest message is, how many of you guys ever experienced that inside of a church where you couldn't go in? So honestly, I just want you guys to just tell me how you feel about this. Like, leave a comment, subscribe, please. You guys already know I'm trying to get my channel to a certain amount so I could go live. And perhaps if I was able to go live, you guys would have been able to witness this with me, because I would have for sure went live about it. Comment, leave a comment. Tell me how you feel about this. Like, how do you feel about being stopped at the door of a church because a deacon is praying? You can't go inside. Like, shouldn't that be when you should be able to go inside? So that way, when all that blessing is coming down and in the midst of you getting in there and getting yourself together, that all that blessing is received. The word is received. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I felt violated by that church. And I'm not going to give the church name, because for sure, after church, I definitely went up to the pastor. And I definitely asked the pastor, how would you feel if God stopped you at his door? If God just told you that you can't come in right now, how would you feel if you had to wait outside that door? And again, are you willing God's will when you come inside this church and you preach to us? Or are you willing your will? You guys just let me know what you think. And again, make sure you like and subscribe. We're on a journey together. And that's what it is. You're going to get the raw me, the raw deal. That's just what it is. So you like and subscribe, and make sure you let me know what you think about this conversation and if we should visit it again together on a live day where we all can go in and say how we feel. All right. Until next time.